Do you ever feel like instead of creating the peaceful, connected home you dreamed of, you feel like a drill sergeant managing chaos? You spend your days cooking meals, driving kids places, cleaning up messes, solving problems, and trying to teach your kids how to be good humans. Even with the best intentions, somehow every interaction with your family feels like a battle. You're constantly correcting, constantly reminding, constantly stepping in, and constantly saying, stop, put that down, leave your brother alone. How many times do I have to tell you? And then at the end of the day, you feel defeated, wondering how you can find joy in the messy middle of motherhood, especially when you're just struggling to stay afloat. If that sounds familiar, listen clearly. You are not a bad mom. You're just an overwhelmed one. And there's a huge difference. Today, we're talking about why so many moms get stuck in command mode, why it creates even more stress and disconnection, and how to shift from managing your kids all day to actually connecting with them again. Welcome to Conquer Mom Stress, the podcast that helps you stress less and enjoy motherhood more. If you've ever crawled into bed at night completely exhausted, but still feel like there's so much left to do, you are in the right place. I'm your host, Jill Gokul, and I believe that motherhood is meant to feel joyful, not exhausting. Together, we'll uncover what's really fueling your stress and give you the practical tools to conquer it so you can finally feel like the confident mom you were made to be. Also, if you have a specific question or issue you're stressing about, head over to jillgokul.com/ask to submit your question. And who knows, you might just be featured in an upcoming episode so you can get practical, real-world solutions to the exact challenges you're facing. A few years ago, I remember sitting at the dinner table and realizing I hadn't said a single positive thing in the previous 10 minutes. All I had been doing was correcting behavior. Sit down. Use your fork. Stop bothering your sister. Finish your food. Don't do that. By the end of dinner, everyone looked frustrated, including me. And that's when it hit me. I was spending so much energy trying to control behavior that I wasn't creating connection. I wasn't seeing my children. I was seeing problems that needed fixed. And the more I focused on fixing, the less connected we all felt. Maybe you've been there too. If you're feeling like every interaction with your kids has become a correction, a reminder, or a battle, there's actually a reason for that. And understanding it can help you change it. Many moms unknowingly slip into survival mode parenting. When you're stressed, overwhelmed, and mentally exhausted, carrying the weight of everyone's needs, your brain shifts into problem-solving mode. Instead of looking for opportunities to connect, it starts scanning for threats. What needs fixing? What could go wrong? Who's fighting? Who's making a mess? Who's not listening? Who's behind schedule? And because your brain is so focused on preventing problems, your interactions naturally become more controlling. You start barking orders, micromanaging, correcting every little thing. Here's the thing. The more you focus on controlling behavior, the less connection your children feel. And the less connected they feel, the more challenging their behavior often becomes. Research from developmental psychologist Dr. Gordon Newfield has shown that connection is one of the strongest drivers of cooperation in children. Kids naturally want to follow the lead of adults they feel emotionally connected to. Connection creates influence. Disconnection creates resistance. So the more you correct, the more they resist, which makes you more frustrated and them more reactive. Before long, everyone feels stuck, including you. Let's be honest. Most moms don't wake up and think, today I'd like to nitpick more. In fact, I'd venture to guess that most moms wish they would nitpick less. But it's a behavior that has become almost involuntary. Research shows that chronic stress reduces activity in the prefrontal cortex. That's the part of the brain responsible for patience, emotional regulation, empathy, and thoughtful decision-making. That means when stress levels are high, the brain relies more heavily on automatic survival responses. In other words, the more overwhelmed you are, the less patient you naturally become. This isn't an excuse, it's an explanation, because knowledge is power. You can't solve a problem you don't understand. Imagine standing in front of a mirror all day and pointing out all the imperfections you see. Every smudge, every flaw, every misstep. That's what you're doing with your children. When you spend so much time focusing on what needs fixing, you miss what's already beautiful. That's the power in shifting from correction to connection. You lead with love. And you know what? Your kids follow. Because connection often changes behavior more effectively than correction ever can. So here are 5 ways to shift from control to connection. First, become the example you want to see. One of the hardest truths in parenting is that our kids learn more from what you do than from what you say. If you want calm children, they need to see calm. If you want kindness, they need to see kindness. If you want patience, they need to experience patience. St. Francis of Assisi famously said, "Preach the gospel at all times, and when necessary, use words." Your example teaches every day. Not perfectly, but powerfully. Grace you give yourself is in turn given to your children. Second, look for connection before correction. Before immediately correcting a behavior, look for ways you can connect first. Get down on their level, touch their shoulder, make eye contact, use their name, start a conversation with them. Children often respond better when they feel seen before redirected. Research from attachment theory shows that emotional connection increases cooperation and trust. Connection isn't permissiveness, it's influence. And I found that when I choose connection, a conversation opens the door to what's really going on with your child and allows you to influence their behavior without barking out a command. Third, focus on what is going right. Remember, your brain naturally notices problems through negativity bias. If you're not intentional, you'll spend all day noticing what your kids are doing wrong. Your brain is wired for your survival, not your success or happiness. Joy and peace are a choice that take proactive action. So try noticing what your kids are doing right and verbalize it. Give them compliments and positive reinforcement. Tell them, "I love how you helped your brother. Thank you for putting your plate away. You worked really hard on that." What you notice grows. What you reinforce grows. And suddenly, your home begins to feel different because it's built around positive reinforcement. Fourth, pause before stepping into every conflict. Many moms become referees for every disagreement, every argument, every complaint, every sibling squabble. But sometimes our constant intervention teaches kids that you're responsible for managing every problem. You become their crutch, when in reality, it'll benefit your kids more if you allow them to work out their own differences. So when you hear conflict arising, pause and assess if you really need to step in right now. Sometimes yes, but often children need opportunities to practice problem solving. Every conflict doesn't require a referee. Sometimes it just requires a coach watching from the sidelines. And number 5, fill your own cup. You cannot pour patience from an empty cup. Research shows that parental burnout is associated with increased irritability, emotional distancing, and conflict with kids. If you're constantly depleted, connection becomes harder. Refilling your cup doesn't have to take much. It can be a warm cup of tea to start your day, or a warm bubble bath to end it. Even cranking up your favorite song midday can be a simple reset you need to be ready to pour into your family. This isn't selfish. It's stewardship. Jesus often withdrew to quiet places to pray and rest. If the Son of God needed moments to recharge, it's okay if you do too. One of my favorite parenting verses comes from Colossians chapter 3, verse 21. Fathers, do not provoke your children, so they may not become discouraged. Picking your kids apart with constant correction discourages them, making them feel like they can't do anything right. And that's the last thing you want to do. Your correction comes from a place of love, but it doesn't translate as love. Connection does. This week, spend just 20 minutes connecting without correcting. No teaching, no fixing, no reminders, no instructions, just connection. Play a game. Listen to them talk. Sit beside them. Laugh together. 20 minutes, that's it. You may be surprised how much changes when your child feels fully seen. Remember, your child doesn't need a perfect mom. They need a connected one. They need a mom who keeps showing up, who keeps trying again, who apologizes when she gets it wrong, and gives grace when she sees others' mistakes. But most importantly, they need a mom who chooses love even on the hard days. Motherhood is a journey, one that requires growth, humility, and grace. You've got this. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Conquer Mom Stress. If today's conversation encouraged you, hit follow and leave a review. That lets me know that these episodes are hitting the topics you need. And while you're there, share this podcast with another mom who might need to hear it. Your thoughtfulness might just be what she needs to get through the day. Remember, this is your place to pause, rest, and start conquering mom stress, one small step at a time. Motherhood isn't meant to drain the life out of you. It's meant to be lived with joy, even on the messy days. And together, we're going to find that joy again.